What's up everybody, welcome back to Smell Good Feel Good. I'm Cody, and in today's video I'm going to go over 10 fragrances that'll make you smell like a gentleman. So stand fast. Alright, welcome back everybody. Today's video, like I said, is 10 fragrances from my collection that will make you smell like a gentleman. These are fragrances that I feel smell more unique, maybe a little bit more dressed up, which is why I'm wearing this stuff. I don't normally wear anything like this, but I am for this video. Now, none of these fragrances are in any particular order. They vary from cheap to expensive, niche, designer. So we're going to cover all bases, and I did kind of intend for this video to have fragrances that can be usually worn all year round. Some maybe lean more towards the cooler weather, some more towards the warmer weather. But like I said, in no particular order, let's go ahead and get started with number 10. So in the number 10 spot is Bond No. 9's Dubai Gold. I've got a little sample right here, and I really like it. It is a, woody, spicy, somewhat balsamic fragrance. The woodiness comes from cedar and gaiac wood is becoming one of my favorite kind of woody scents because it gives it kind of like this smoky feel to it. You also get somewhat of a boozy accord to it. It's kind of like cognac or brandy. It's not a rum or whiskey note to it. And then there's just like a hint of saffron in there as well. But yeah, I really like this one. And yeah, it's kind of like my branching out into some of these woodier, richer fragrances. All right, next up in the number 9 spot is a fragrance by Happyland Studios, and it is Amberland. This is just a very nice ambery balsamic fragrance. You get that amber feel, even though legitimate amber doesn't actually have a smell to it, but it does have this kind of resinous amber vanilla vibe to it. And then there's also undertones. You can smell a little bit of rose in there as well. There is just a little touch of citrus in there as well that just kind of brightens it up a little bit, goes along with that rose. But yeah, Amberland is very nice. I need to wear it more often. A lot of these fragrances right now I haven't been wearing too much because it's just so hot outside that I've just been wearing a lot of citrus fragrances. But I do like to wear some of these, including Amberland, whenever I'm just chilling at the house or whenever, I go to bed. Stuff's pretty powerful, so, one little spray does the job for me. One little spray on the chest. There you have it. Number 9 spot is Amberland by Happyland Studios. Okay, up next is a very popular cheapie that could possibly pass off as a niche quality scent, and that is Lalique's Ancre Noir à la Extreme. This fragrance was a little challenging for me when I first got it. It's probably one of the more kind of classy, mature smelling fragrances in my collection. I like vetiver. I like vetiver in fragrances, but my first real vetiver fragrance was Tom Ford's Grey Vetiver, and so that's all I really had to connect to when it came to the note of vetiver. And so whenever I got this, I wasn't expecting it to be so rich and earthy. So this is a vetiver fragrance, but it's not a refreshing, fresh vetiver. It is a dark, earthy vetiver. It's a little incensey as well. But it is growing on me, and I have been wearing it more often whenever I'm just around the house, because like I said, it's freaking hot outside, and this would not do that great out in the heat, because it would probably choke people out. But anyways, in the number 8 spot, once again, is Lalique Ancre Noir à la Extreme. Okay, next up is one of my favorite nighttime slash going to bed fragrances. But if you are dressed up and, you know, trying to smell kind of elegant, this is a good, cheap, classic fragrance that you could try. And it is Versace The Dreamer. So with this fragrance, you're gonna get like tobacco flower or like a tobacco blossom. It's not like your pipe tobacco type scent. You're also gonna be getting juniper in there, which is in a lot of some older, more classic fragrances. And it's a little ambery as well. And then another big player is iris. You're gonna get iris in there. And I think that iris, plus I believe there's lily in there, kind of gives it that almost relaxing, calming note to it that makes me like to wear it to bed sometimes. But anyways, yes, this is a good, cheap, classic fragrance that I think somebody could pull off really well, you know, in a more dressed up, elegant setting. Alright, so in the number 6 and 5 spots are both fragrances from Happyland Studios. I should have just put them alongside with Amberland, but, you know, I wanted to switch it up a bit, but whatever. So this next one is 7 by Happyland, and this could maybe even be worn casually and not just dressed up elegant, but it is a nice, somewhat smoky, yet a little citrusy and spicy fragrance, and it's masculine in my opinion. I really like this one. It's got the note of pink pepper in it, and I really like pink pepper. And like I said, the incense in there, it's ambery, got a little bit of vanilla in there. And then there's also rose. You can smell rose. It kind of comes off similarly to the rose in Amberland. And so that brings me to the number 5 spot, which is also a fragrance by Happyland, and it is Homeland. This one almost has like a barbershop type scent to it. I wouldn't necessarily say it's completely a barbershop scent, but it's got some notes in there that you would kind of find in some barbershop type scents. Like it's got vetiver, it's got lavender in there, it has, I believe, bergamot, sandalwood, and then there's also ambroxan, and that really kind of brings it to that, I wouldn't say ambroxan as in like a Dior Sauvage, but it just kind of brings it out a little bit more, makes it kind of jump off the skin a little bit more in my opinion. But yeah, this is just a cedary, lavender, vetiver kind of barbershop type scent to it. It's not like, the vetiver isn't super earthy like it is in A La Extreme and Car Noir A La Extreme. But yeah, I really like this one, and I think that it could be worn in, between the 3 Happylands that I have right here, it's probably the one that you could wear in the warmest of weather compared to the other ones. But you still probably wouldn't want to wear it on the hottest day outside. Okay, so my number 4 spot is a fragrance that a friend of mine sent me as a sample, and at first I didn't like it. It's very, very challenging to me, and it's unlike anything I've smelt before, and it is Xerjoff Ivory Root, or Ivory Route. So, like I said, it's very different from anything I've smelt before. I'm going to go ahead and just read off a list of the notes that are on Ivory Route, so let me get a computer. Alright, so it says spicy notes, sandalwood, allspice, patchouli, and basil. And yeah, it's just a very rich, warm, spicy, somewhat resinous type fragrance. It's very hard to kind of put into words. As you wear it, it gets a little bit lighter and it's less kind of like punch you in the face. But like when I first put it on, it almost has like a burnt rubber type smell to it, but then it dries down, and then it starts to smell a lot more pleasant, and it's starting to really grow on me, and I am liking this fragrance. It is definitely not something that I would blind buy. So, so far, everything that I've talked about on here, except maybe Ancre Noir à l'Extrême, is fragrances that you could probably get away with blind buying, but it's smart to never blind buy because you don't want to be disappointed whenever you get it and find out you don't like it. But yeah, Xerjoff Ivory Root. Try to get your nose on it. It is very unique in my opinion. And I think you have to be a really confident dude to wear that and actually pull it off. Okay, and the number 3 spot is a fragrance that I've talked about probably a few times on my channel, and you guys probably heard a lot about it. It's been hyped because I guess it's been discontinued, but it is L'Homme Ideal Cologne by Guerlain, and this is just a very nice, refreshing almond scent. It has the typical almondy, DNA that L'Homme Ideal has with its fragrances, but it has some citruses put in there that kind of lifts it up and makes it a little bit of a lighter, more refreshing fragrance. And as I've said before, whenever I reviewed this, my fiance generally dislikes fragrances that have almond in it. Like, she does not like Parfums de Marly Pegasus. I personally love Pegasus, but whenever she smelt this on me, she actually really, really liked it. And I told her, well, guess what? There's almond in that. And she was surprised because, like I said, she normally does not like almond. But yeah, L'Homme Ideal Cologne by Guerlain is a nice one that you could wear in the summer while you're dressed up. And even though it's discontinued, you can still find it on discount websites for, pretty cheap. So I don't know if the prices are going to skyrocket anytime soon. All right, my number 2 spot, and usually when this fragrance is on one of my lists, it's usually number 1. But I really, really like this fragrance, and to me it just smells like what I imagine. When I smell this fragrance, the image I get in my head is the actor Idris Elba dressed up in a black, business suit, sitting at the top of a skyscraper with his windows behind him at his office desk and just looking like a boss. And the fragrance is Tom Ford Guerlain Vetiver EDP. I absolutely love this fragrance. It's one of the first Vetiver fragrances that I've had. It's not your typical Vetiver, so I've come to realize it is refreshing. It's kind of creamy. It's citrusy. It is, I think you could wear this year round. I think you could pull this off in the summertime. They do make an EDT version that is just a little bit more brighter and citrusy than this one, but I think it's been discontinued. But when I smelt the two next to each other, I went with this one because it smells a little bit more sophisticated and classy and masculine, and I love this fragrance. It would usually, the more I like a fragrance, the less I wear it, because I don't want to run out. And that's probably stupid, like what are the odds of me running out of a fragrance? But the more I like a fragrance, the less likely I am to actually wear it, which sounds stupid. I guess if it's like super duper super cheap, then I guess I really don't care. But yes, number 2 spot is Tom Ford Guerlain Vetiver. I think this is a dressed up classy fragrance that should be in every guy's arsenal. I don't think you'd be disappointed. The number 1 spot, and like I said, these aren't in any particular order. This is a fragrance that I recently acquired, and I got it just because, it's a classic. I feel like it's one of those fragrances that you just have to get your nose on, and it's pretty cheap, and it's one of my friend's favorite fragrances. It is, and that person is John Harper. He is the blogger from Musings of a Fraghead. But anyways, so the number 1 spot is Guerlain's Vetiver Eau de Toilette. This This is a classic smelling fragrance. It does, in my opinion, smells slightly dated, but I think one could still easily pull this off in the right conditions, in the right setting. Obviously, within the name, it's got vetiver in it. And I would say, so, a la Extreme by Guerlain Noir, a la Extreme. This is very earthy vetiver. And Tom Ford Grey Vetiver this is a very citrusy, bright, kind of refreshing vetiver fragrance. And I would say that this Guerlain Vetiver is in between the two. It's not super earthy, but it's not super bright and refreshing at the same time. So this does have, the typical classic notes in it. It's got the vetiver, it's got oak moss in it, which is in a lot of older fragrances. You also get some citruses from bergamot and I believe lemon in there as well. And there's just a lot going on in this fragrance. It's nicely blended. There's nothing that really jumps out to me. I think there's a little bit of tobacco in there as well. But, yeah, it's just a really classy, elegant fragrance. I'd say a couple of these, like, Guerlain Vetiver, Guerlain Noir à la Extreme, let's say Xerjoff Ivory Root, and Versace the Dreamer. I think you'd probably want to be in your later 20s or 30s and up to pull those off. I think the other ones, you could be pretty safe even if you're like, a college student, and you could probably pull those off just fine. But yeah, some of these are a little bit more classic than others. But either way, any of these fragrances, in my opinion, would really help you come off as a gentleman. So obviously you got to dress the part too. If you wear stuff like what I normally wear, which is the same shit that I go to the gym in, you probably don't want to wear these while you're wearing something like that. But, if you're wearing like office attire or business attire, these fragrances will definitely be a good accessory for you. So there you have it, guys. If you smelt any of these fragrances, let me know down below. Tell me which ones you like. Tell me which ones you dislike. If you like the video, please like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, which leads me, it reminds me that I had set the goal to reach 550 subscribers by the end of the year. I think right now I'm sitting at 565 subscribers. So I've gone past that mark. Thank you very much to everybody who's been watching me and supporting me. I really appreciate it. I guess now maybe I should say, I'll move my benchmark up to 600 subscribers before the end of the year. At first, my benchmark was to hit 500 before the end of this year. Then I went past that. Now I'm at I said, let's do 550. And now I'm past that. And so let's go ahead and go with 600 by the end of this year. Let's see if I can do it. If I don't, oh well. I'm grateful for everybody who supports me. And yeah, guys, I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.